Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ocean Outlast Expert. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. We are jumping right back on into things today. And I hope you all enjoyed the last episode where we got our sword up and going. I did want to make a note though. So after the episode was over, I was looking at some stuff around the advanced combat mod, which is what this sword comes from. And I did realize that there are a bunch of different options for things that you can make for this. So as you can see here, there's all of these different upgrades. Now these upgrades act as the upgrades that you see or the enchantments that you see on the sword. So for example, we have sharpness 5 on our sword right now. Well, you can get sharpness upgrades for these items and add them on. Now these are tiers 1 through 5, so you would have to create 5 of these to get up to tier 5. So it's okay, but it's a lot of resources to use. As you can see, you need mana steel, a mana steel sword, compressed flint, and so on and so forth. Really, your better bet would be to just find that enchantment out in the wild, go do some adventuring, go to a pirate cove, whatever it may be, and try to find it somewhere out there, because realistically, this is going to be a lot of resources. And then if you want to go tiers 6 through 10, you need to get even more. You got to get these diamantine crystal swords. You need prismarine bricks, and then you have to have one of those to begin with. And these things take 2 diamonds each. These diamantine, whatever crystals, you take a diamond in front of the atomic reconstructor and you get those. So it's a lot of resources. I wouldn't recommend that. I would just recommend going out and finding those enchantments out in the wild, or trying your luck with a crafting station, like a enchanting station, I should say. But I did want to point that out. The other thing that I didn't realize is there's actually swords that are above the tier that we crafted. So we crafted the diamond one, the advanced diamond sword, which took a couple blocks of diamonds and then a diamond sword. Well, the next one up is the nether star sword. Now this has 30 base attack damage, definitely a little bit more durability. It does take 2 nether stars in order to do, but then you get an awesome sword that has 30 attack damage. Now, nether stars are obviously not the easiest to come by, but if you did happen to have a bunch of them laying around, it could be a viable option. Now, the final tier, the advanced nether star sword, is the god tier of sword. Look at that, 60 attack damage, base attack damage. Now, if you added sharpness and everything, all these other enchantments on it, you could easily bump it up even higher than 60. But this does take a lot. You need glowstone swords, you need inferium swords. These actually aren't too bad to get. The block of nether star, you need 2 of them. That's pretty pricey to get because you need 18 nether stars for that. And then obviously in the middle, you need the nether star sword. So you need to have the nether star sword first, even to get to this tier. So just something to keep in mind. It is pretty cool though. And I did want to point out that there's also some armor that you can get in here. Wooden armor, stone armor, nether fortress armor, which is kind of cool. And then obsidian armor as well, which we've done obsidian armor in the past. We're actually rocking some obsidian armor right now. But yeah, again, just wanted to make note of that for you guys so you knew if you were trying to get this crafted up on your own. So with that being said, we are going to pick up right where we left off at the end of the last episode, getting into Thaumcraft. So we do need to get into Thaumcraft to progress towards what I want. So ultimately, we want to get some thermal expansion items up and going. And in order to get into thermal expansion, we need extended crafting. Now, extended crafting, it does take, I think it takes some of the Thaumcraft because we need luminescence. And luminescence is done through a crucible through Thaumcraft. You need glowstone ingots in a crucible with some lux, and then you'll get some luminescence. I am going to be honest with you guys, I am not 100% familiar with Thaumcraft, so we are kind of going into this together, so you'll have to be kind to me, hopefully. If I'm not following things the most accurate way or the most efficient way, we're starting this fresh together. So any tips and tricks are greatly appreciated. Feel free to leave them down in the comments below. But where we did last leave off, we were working on our quest progression for Thaumcraft. It's this one right here on the left if you were curious. We did progress through. We got all 6 of our crystals over time. We didn't get those in the last episode, but you can find these in caves for those of you who are wondering. Then sleepy boy, go and sleep in a bed. That will give you a book. It'll give you this book right here, Strange Dreams. Oh, and then I just did the next thing that I was supposed to do is, didn't mean to do that already, but the next thing we did get is Salus Mundus. We got this in the last episode. This is created by taking 3 Vs crystals of different types and combining them with redstone, just normal redstone, and then crafting them with flint and a bowl. We did that at the end of the last episode, so if you're curious how that is done, feel free to go back and check the last episode out right at the end. Now the next step was to get a thaumometer up and going. It's created by right-clicking on a bookshelf with the Salus Mundus, which we just accidentally did. So we're going to grab this, and now we have our thaumometer. Now I believe that we can combine this into our tome here. If I get off of that, and I take our tome, put it in there, put the thaumometer in there. Not all recipes are correct, check JEI. Okay, something to keep in mind there. Good thing I read that. So we should be able to go over here and then pull up our thaumometer. So first steps, you have not yet begun this research. So if we go into first steps, got a bunch of reading to do. We did complete a nice little thing up there. Who would have thought that a few sprinkles of dust could have created this marvelous book? It is mostly blank, but it hints at a powerful new form of magic. Thaumaturgy? I'm trying my best. Firstly, I will need to study the magical world that has been shown to me. For that, I will need a tool, a thaumometer. The book calls it a thaumometer. A normal crafting table won't do, however, since the magical energies I need to channel while crafting in it are quite delicate. A sprinkling of Salus Mundus on a mundane crafting table should solve that. The book has taught me the proper indication to use, so it should be a simple matter. Keep myself on track. I will make a list of all the requirements that need to be met on the first page of each new entry. That's actually pretty nice. So we do need to get an arcane workbench up and going. So we bump out of this. Salus Mundus, here you go. That's the crafting recipe right there for it. It is a, what do you say, a like open crafting recipe, I guess you could say. It doesn't have to be in that exact pattern, I don't think. So I had all my flint, bowl, and redstone on the bottom and not in that order either. So I think it's very flexible on how you do it. So let's bounce out of there. And like it said, we do need a crafting table up and going. So let's get one of those. Take this bad boy. And I think putting it right here would be the best bet. We'll get our Salus Mundus, click it on there. We got a nice little effect, particle effects. And bada bing, bada boom, we have our arcane workbench. Now I believe that my F1 is still not working. Yep, still not working, unfortunately. So I'm just trying to get us lined up here for a nice little screenshot to get us for our thumbnail here. So cool beans, we got that done, and then we can take a look at our quests. We got this, the thaumometer is created by, yep, we did that. So we get Kev's Lost Chest and some monies. Now we did get the arcane workbench. It's most likely because you haven't made a thaumometer. Okay. Now I'm curious if I open this, if it'll complete the thing, or I have to pick it up. I might have to pick it up to actually complete it. So let's break it, let's grab it, and there we go. Now it's completed. Arcane Workbench quest completed. So we do get another lost chest. Kev is losing all of his chests for some reason. But don't worry, we're finding them. We got an enchanted heart, and then a stone hammer, which actually completed another quest, ironically. We got this where we get some compressed cobblestone. So we can put that away. We really don't need that on us. This enchanted heart scales down the difficulty. Ooh, that's actually really nice. Oh, that bumped down our difficulty. That is awesome. And then we don't really need the stone hammer. Actually, we don't need a stone hammer at all. I'm just going to get rid of it, to be completely honest with you. And that corned beef we don't really need. So, cool beans. We're moving right along. So we did our first steps. We can complete that. Progress. I know I have an arcane workbench at my disposal. It works much like a mundane crafting table, and it can even be used as such. However, there are a few key differences. Firstly, Many arcane recipes will require the use of those vis crystals I have been finding of late. They act as a focus for the magical energy I need to channel into the items I craft. The book calls this magical energy vis. Supposedly the energy is all around me, but as yet I cannot perceive or measure it. It's time I craft a thaumometer and use it to study the world around me. It should be clearly marked those things that need to be examined. I have placed a bookmark to the thaumometer recipe on the right. This book is actually super useful. If you are starting off in Thaumcraft and you're not really sure what you're doing, this is a great way to go through it. That's actually not too bad. We have glass pane and gold. I should double check on that just to be sure. How do we spell this? U. Let's double check to make sure on this thing, because they did say that the recipes aren't always going to be exactly correct. And I already forget what thing was called. What was it called? A thaumometer, okay. Thaumometer, okay, so it is correct. Interesting. So we do need to get gold. We need 4 gold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then some glass panes, which we should have. Actually, we just need 1. We'll go in here, go boom, 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 and then boom right in the middle. And then I think we just have to put these all around the sides. And I think it's fine if we just leave them in there. We are going to probably want to collect more. And just like that, we have our thaumometer up and going. Boom. So if we go into our quest line, that should continue our quest progression here with getting that up and going. So this is primarily used to scan blocks and items to understand new research topics, complete research topics, and gain observation points in areas of study. Right-clicking with it when looking at an object highlighted in blue sparkles will add points to observation. If the player is looking at the moon, sun, or night sky, right-clicking while also processing paper and scribing tools will consume paper to create celestial notes. It also has an aurora detector built into it. On top of the left corner, a tube displaying the amount of V's and flux in the current chunk will appear in light purple and dark purple respectively. A golden notch shows the V's cap, though it can be occupied by any flux in the aurora. That is pretty cool. So we got that up and going. So we'll have to see then what our next steps are. And this is pretty cool. If we take this out, what if I look at a light? So right-clicking, it said. Nothing new can be learned from this. Okay, what if we go outside and we hit up one of these torches? You have learned something new. So if we come into our thaumometer, so we're still in the fundamentals. Well, we can do that. Okay, we did that. Ooh, interesting. Okay, we get out of that. So we got that and that. All right, guys. So I've just been going around with this and just kind of clicking on things. So I'll shift right click on things. And as you can see, it pops up with learning stuff. And it does it for a lot of things, so I would definitely recommend doing it on most things that you can find. Because it definitely doesn't hurt. Well, for the most part. So as you can see, we keep learning new things, which is pretty cool. And we did complete research plants. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, well, I just went through and I did a bunch of that, and actually I just did it on a chest and it did a lot of stuff. So I think you can actually use it on chests and it accommodates for everything that's inside of the chest. Yeah, just like that. Scanning first 100 items. So basically, if you use this on chests that have a bunch of stuff in it, it'll identify all of the things that are in there. And holy smokes, it just identified a bunch of stuff. And I'm guessing we could do it with food as well. That is awesome. Okay, so we went through and we did a bunch there, and we have a bunch of research, I guess you could call it now, I think. or we've identified a bunch of stuff. So let's head back over to our little Thaumcraft hut here and open our book because I know we did complete this. But yeah, definitely would recommend just using that on chests and just identifying a bunch of stuff that you have laying around then. So with that being said, we come into our first steps. We do have this complete now. And perfect. First steps completed. Such strange wonders are being revealed to me. Peering through the lens of the thaumometer shows me the world coursing with magic. Vis, as the book calls it. Normally this energy is pure ocean of magic that ebbs and flows, but it also permeates all things, both animate and inanimate. The book calls Vis in the state of essentia, where Vis is formless and pure. Essentia is more rigid in its nature and falls into a multitude of clearly defined types, each mixing together with other forms to greater and more complex, blah, blah, blah. Keeping log of all the types of essentia. I've discovered a bookmark on the left shows you my current knowledge. For now, I need to focus on my energies elsewhere. Studying essentia might be a good place to start. So, aspects of essentia. Interesting, okay. So we got a bunch of different ones. So these together would make those. I'm understanding this correctly. Flux is this air and ignis, so air and fire. Wow, there's a lot of them. And then knowledge totals, we can go in here and look. So we've been observing a bunch of stuff, as you can see. We are almost done with the fundamentals, it looks like. Pretty good progression there. So we're doing good. So, doesn't really have us with the next thing. I guess the next thing would be to discover alchemy, it's saying. Now it does say we could get arcane stones up and going, but then it doesn't really tell us what we need to utilize those for. So I'm guessing that at some point we'll utilize them. Then we also did complete the plant research and the ores research. So if we go into plants here, plants, there are many unique plants that are useful to thaumometry. I should study those I find. So we found great woods and silver woods. So we want to find those boys. Okay, so if we go back and then we go to ores. Ores, there are many unique ores in mineable blocks that are useful to thaumometry. I should make note. Okay, so very similar. So V's crystals, and then that kind of goes over all the different ones that you can do. All right, cool. So discovering alchemy. So this is our next step, is discovering alchemy. So brewing simple potions has its uses, but true alchemical interactions require more than mixing a few monster parts together. I think essentia holds the key to a much more sophisticated way of manipulating matter. I should try to learn more about alchemy and how it fits into the magical world. Armed with that knowledge and a little bit of inspiration, I'm sure thaumaturgic alchemy will be in my grasp. So we can complete that. A new insight into how the world is put together, and I think I might know a way to transform matter and altering its essentia. This will require an experimentation of something to hold the alchemical substrate. A simple brewing stand will not do. What I need is a mystical crucible. A cauldron is the right shape and size, but its efficiency, but what is effectively a big metal bowl will never be able to hold the magical energies I wish to manipulate. Once again, applying some Salus Mundus to a cauldron should resolve my problem. All right, so we need a cauldron, which I don't think I have. Yeah, I don't think I do, because I basically smelt all of those up to get iron. And I can never spell this. How do we spell this? That's not what I wanted. C-A-U. I know how to spell, right? C-A-U, cauldron. Oh, I gotta put it over here. C-A-U. Cauldron, just like so. And we'll put it right here. And we'll get it plopped down, I don't know, we'll put it right here. And then we need our Salus Mundus. And we'll right click on it. And boom, we have our crucible. So we should just be able to knock it out, place it back down, and we are good to go. I'm gonna back up once again, just so we have a good shot for a thumbnail if we need one. Cool beans. All right, so we should be able to complete a quest then for the crucible. Oof, okay, so that's a lot of reading. If you guys do want to know more information, highly would recommend pausing the video here and taking a read through things. But basically, it must be filled with water with a heat source underneath, lava or fire underneath it for it to function. Okay, so we do have to have a heat source under it. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. And unfortunately, our whole entire place is pretty much made of wood. I don't know if we could use like the hopper thing or if we can use a torch. I don't know if a torch would work. We could try a torch and see if it does work. Yeah, we could try that. All right, guys. So I went ahead and I tried to use this flame grilled hopper, right? Was it flame grilled whopper to act as a heat source under our crucible, and it doesn't seem to work, unfortunately, which is a bit of a bummer. I know you can use it under, it says that you can use it under a clay kiln or stone grill, but it would have been nice to be able to have it on here, because obviously it doesn't spread a flame then, which would have been you know, really really nice to have, instead of having to actually have some fire going and potentially burn down our whole entire building. So it is what it is. I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll end up taking things downstairs instead. So we're gonna grab this bad boy. We're gonna knock this out like so. I do need to get some water though. So let's go out here and grab some water. I really should just get another sink going since it is an unlimited source of water. We'll head down here, maybe. There we go. I'll grab this stuff. We'll place our block back. And then I guess our downstairs area here will be basically dedicated to our, it'll be dedicated to alchemy. I think that would be our best bet. So let's get some of this stuff taken out here. And we're gonna get a nice little area set up right over here that isn't gonna burn down, hopefully. Yeah, we definitely just don't want it to burn down. That's the biggest concern here, is our whole entire thing just burning down to the ground. So let me do a little bit of tinkering here and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have gotten things up and going and into a good place. I did want to get a sink going though, really quick, just so we had it. I'm gonna get rid of that. And we will place this bad boy maybe just right here in the corner so we can easily access some water when needed. So we'll grab a little bit of water here. And as you can see, we have a really cool setup for our cauldron down there. Or, right, is it? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. For our crucible, I should say, not our cauldron. So let me put some of this stuff away here really quick. Let's just get a little bit organized. We do need this back on our inventory along with this. But yeah, so I have it set up with more despair bricks down here, put some lanterns with some chains on it to give it some light, and we're far enough away from most of the wood sources, so we shouldn't be burning anything down. And I think it looks kind of cool that it's kind of down here in this little pit. But now we put the water in it, and it should work fine because we have a normal fire source under it with a netherrack keeping it going. Now I don't know how long this will take. It says that it's supposed to start boiling, and once it starts boiling then you know it's good to go. But since we have that up and going, I think we are good to move on. So if we take a look here, we can complete this. So I have my crucible. Now I need something to experiment with, and I happen to have the perfect thing. I spent many a late night studying the thaumometer, and flickering torchlight is not the best thing to read by. A steady magical light is exactly what I need now. Glowstone is a steady source of light, but I require large handfuls of it for a light source, and it lacks style. I'm sure I can alter it into something better. The crucible needs to be placed over a source of heat and filled with water. Once the water boils, I can start adding the things I need. I have jotted down a recipe that I think will create a substance I have named nitor. A small core of energized glowstone empowered with energy. Fire and light should burn forever. It should be naturally buoyant and allowing it to be placed wherever I choose, even floating in midair. Simply need to find objects with the required essence. Pressing shift while hovering over an item might help here. And throw them into the crucible. The crucible will render them down into their constituent essentia. I might not be able to gather the exact combination of essentia I require, but if there are enough of the types I need of everything, should be fine. Once I have enough of all, I'll need to throw the catalyst in the catalyst, and then in this case, handfuls of glowstone dust. If all goes well, glowstone will be absorbed in the essentia and transformed into nitro, or nitor, I should say. Okay, so we need ignis, lux, and potentia. So we got to figure those out, and then obviously some glowstone. So let's take a peek here. We're still not boiling. I'm kind of curious. I don't know how long it takes to boil. Well, we should be set up properly. We got fire right underneath it, and it's got water in it, so I don't know. But it did say that we need to put certain essence in there. So we have infusion and aromancy in there. Okay, so that's getting into some more complicated things. So we're not going to go down that path right now. The cauldron, the alchemy, is exactly what we need to get going, though. So I guess we kind of got to figure out what we need. So we need that and that. Okay, so we just got to look around and see what things we need to throw in there are. I'm guessing that maybe food would be good for one thing. Let's see here. That actually has most of it. The torches do. Light, that, and that. So we could actually just use torches. It's probably not the most effective. I know there are ways of getting like the most bang for your buck realistically, but it definitely helps seeing what each thing has. So when you shift on items, it'll show you what it contains. So yeah, so you can just see. Now obviously not everything will have something for us to be able to utilize, but it's just good to know. And torches are definitely the first thing that we can utilize. So that's not what we wanted to do. So do we just toss it in there? It needs to be boiling. So let me give it a minute and see if it does start to boil. All right, guys, I realized I'm a big idiot. I put the fire one block too low for whatever reason. I just wasn't thinking everything through, so it was not boiling the water because it was just a little bit too low down. That is my mistake. I'm sure some of you are probably already commenting down below that I put it too far down, but you know, sometimes you just kind of overlook things as you're recording. So my mistake, I caught it though, and we are good to go. So the best thing for us to do would be to add in our torches. So we should be able to just toss them in there. And I wish it would show you, I wish there was a way to like see how much you have in there. So this gives 5, 1, and 1, right? And we need, for this, we need 10 of those, right? Yeah. So we're gonna have to put 10 in. So we put 1 in. So 1, 2, oh. Make sure we get up high enough. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got all those in there. And then all we need is some glowstone. We go in here, we go to glowstone. We have a decent amount, so we'll grab some of that. Then we should be able to just toss it in there. Now, how much glowstone did it say it took, though? It just says 1. All right, so I guess we'll keep tossing these in there. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No! Oh. Darn. I don't know. You know, you guys, like I said, you guys got to give me a little break here. I'm trying my best. I'm just going to throw all of our torches in there. And there we go. Okay. So we got some nitro or nitro or whatever. Ugh, that's so funny. So this stuff you can actually use to fuel that, I believe, and it acts as a source of light. So you can place it down just like so, and it looks really, really cool. So if we really wanted to, we could put it down there, but I'm not going to do it for the time being. Oh, I can't believe we lost our lens there, but it is what it is. It's okay. So I'm just trying to go here, and unfortunately our F1 still does not work, which is annoying. But I just wanted to have a couple options for screenshots for our thumbnail. Shift over a little bit there. Yeah, cool. So we are kind of figuring it out as we go. Like I said, guys, you got to give me a little bit of a break because I am still a little rusty on Thaumcraft. I'm not like the most expertise in the space. So it's going to take me some time to get used to everything, but we are at a good point, and that's all we really needed to get the item that we need for our progression to get into extended crafting. So really we could move on from there and not do anything else, but I'm kind of enjoying Thaumcraft a little bit. It seems interesting and fun, so maybe we'll stick with it for a little bit longer. Who knows? We'll have to see in the next episode. We got that done. I don't know. Did that give us a progression of any kind? I don't think so. I think that was the only thing. There's no progression on that. So the next thing would be infusion or that. So arcane infusion. And we could actually complete that, but we're not at a good point for that yet. What is in our quest line? What do we have next? So we could get an urn going, the infusion stuff, brass ingots. Wow. These resonator, aster gauntlet, research table, lamps of growth, arcane lamp. Interesting, an arcane lamp, amber block, and then some iron plates around it. So we just need amber for that. That's kind of interesting. Anyway, we're over our time limit, so we're going to wrap the episode up there. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below. Better yet, leave me a comment. Love to hear what you're thinking on this series, or if you want to see more Thaumcraft. I think we'll probably continue with Thaumcraft. Not 100% sure, but it is pretty interesting, like I was saying. I do stream over on Twitch. If you want to follow me over there, I have that link in the description, along with my link to my Discord. If you want to keep up to date with what's going on in the channel, or for our stream, you can find it over on the Discord, or if you just want to chat. We have a great community started over there, so if you want to drop in, feel free to do so. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for sticking through till the very end. I appreciate it so very much. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.